Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am building here in the world of Britechester, which is of course the world that we got in the Discover University expansion pack. I have not built in this world in a very long time, but I recently was inspired basically to build something here for my save file, which I have also not built for in a really long time. I released the second version a few months ago by now, so if you guys haven't seen the video or know that it was up for download, I'll have it linked in the description box so you guys can find it really easily. But basically the only difference from the original version is there's more builds, there's more sims. I wasn't able to add as much like decorations in the world using the tool mod. I did like a few things, but not as much as I did the first time. But basically it has new builds and new sims, and yeah, it's available for download like I said. And this is the only build I've done since the release, which I think is crazy because there's still so much to do. There's so many worlds, so many lots, and I feel like the project is never going to end. I don't know how people have completed their renovations or their own save files, I mean, because I feel like it just takes a long time. But anyways, yeah, I'm building a commons area for the Britechester students, which is of course the older university. There's a modern one that's called the Foxbury Institute. And yeah, I wanted to do something that was kind of like a castle in a way. I don't know, I was really inspired by the buildings in the surrounding area. Here I'm creating a part of the building that's very similar to this live edit object. I thought about just using the live edit object, and I probably would have if the stone color would have been exactly the same as the stone that I was using on the rest of the building, but I'm really happy that it worked out this way because I think it's a really nice feature of the building, and I'm happy that I built it myself. But I think I would have been happy using the live edit object too. But either way, I think the shape of this building is really interesting, and I think it just blends into the world really nicely because you can see the same sort of like a tower turret in the distance, and like also some of like the other features you can see in the distance as well. But I tried to make the building look unique and not identical to anything in the distance. But yeah, I really wanted to use one of those statues that came from Romantic Garden. I've been really obsessed with them recently, and I think it would have looked okay, but I don't know. I didn't really see it in this building. Maybe I'll have to do something else where I use those in like a pretty fancy garden or something. But yeah, I decided to use these one decorations that have these plants and the vases that they're sitting in, and I put them up on top of the building. And I don't know if you would ever see something like this in real life, but I thought they looked cool in The Sims, so I decided to add a few of them around this build. I have two of them here on the front, on the left, and I think I put another one on the back or two, something like that. But yeah, over here I'm just creating a little pop-out piece to the building, which I thought looked really nice. But basically in the interior of this building, I was trying to create something that felt appropriate for students. There are a few required objects that you need in a commons building with Discover University, and one of those is the debate podiums. Another one is a cafeteria stall or counter, whatever you call that item, and then a microphone. So I put the microphone next to the podium. I'm not really sure how that works exactly or what you need the microphone for, because I did playtest this build and students would actually come in and debate, and I would see some use the microphone, but I think they might have just been like practicing comedy or something. I'm not really sure if they were doing anything else. And then also somebody would come and work the cafeteria, which was super cool. And then you also need a few desks. So there's a study space, which is on the second floor, and also bathroom items and like a trash can and those types of things. But yeah, there's two bathrooms in this building. And so yeah, I think it has everything that your Sims need to have like a fully functional student commons area. There's no like party things, like there's no bar, there's no ping pong table. I decided that those would be more appropriate for like the frat houses or the sorority house or the bar in town. I wanted this to strictly look like it was decorated and furnished and all that kind of stuff by the university itself. And they really tried to keep the historical look of the building too, and I also tried to make it look more fancy because I feel like Britechester is a more fancy university. It's more prestigious, and I think the like whole style of it needs to reflect that. So that's what I tried to do. I used older style paintings and like fancier looking furniture on the interior. So yeah, hopefully you guys will like the way it turned out. The shape of it has pretty much came together. I'm just switching up some of the windows over here on this side of the building. I felt like having a different window over here would look a little bit better. I don't know why exactly, but for some reason the decorations on this roof in particular kept disappearing. So I kept replacing the dormers and the chimneys like over and over and over. Like I think I do it like 2 or 3 more times. It was so annoying. I don't know why they were disappearing necessarily, but thankfully I think I was able to get it all sorted in the end. Hopefully if you guys download this, they don't disappear, but if they do, I don't think they should be too difficult to replace. But yeah, over here is the back of the building, and on the back there's just a balcony and a lower porch area, and you can go out the back of the building, but there's not really any exterior sort of like activities. There's just like a walkway, and I do some landscaping, and there's a couple of trash cans back here, but you guys will see that here in just a little while. And I also used some modern doors here on the back of the building. I thought that was kind of something a little bit interesting, made the building feel a little bit updated, but it still has very much like an old feel to it. So I thought that actually looked really nice. There's also no fireplace on the interior, basically because I forgot about them when I was decorating it. But there is lots of chimneys. So my idea behind that once I finished the build was that the university actually removed the fireplaces but kept the chimneys themselves, because removing the chimneys would be too expensive of a project, but removing the fireplaces wasn't, and they decided that it was too much of a hazard to have a place for fire in the student commons area. And so they thought it might be a bit dangerous, and so they removed the fireplaces. I don't know if that's a thing or if a university would do that, but it was a nice excuse for myself of why I didn't add a fireplace, but there were still so many chimneys. But I like the chimneys. They do add a really nice, like, I think, look to the building, and they just, I don't know, they're super cute. But yeah, here I'm working on the landscaping. The landscaping is fairly simple. I wanted it to look really similar to the landscaping in the surrounding areas, and I believe this hedge you see in the surrounding areas. If not, it's a very similar one. And then I just put a couple of trees and just like, I think this hydrangea plant for the flowers. I don't think I added any other flowers besides the decoration up on those roof pieces. Oh yeah, I also added this cherry blossom tree that came from, I believe, Get Together. You can find it as part of the live edit objects, but I thought it was so pretty. And you can see a couple of other cherry blossoms in the surrounding area, but it's the base game one. So if you don't have Get Together, then there is like ones from base game that is an option too. But I thought that one was just super cute, and I put another one here on the back of the building. But yeah, here I'm just creating the walkway and adding some fence. The fence that I'm using came from Romantic Garden. I felt like it just suited the style really nicely. And I also put a fountain back here. Right now I have this color swatch of the fountain, and once I was taking the screenshots, I didn't really like the swatch so much, so I changed it to a gray one just because it looked a little bit more like this style. I felt like this one was very much, I mean, South American, which it's supposed to be. It came from Jungle Adventure, so it's supposed to fit into that more like South American, Central American style, which is not this style of Britechester whatsoever, but I felt like changing the swatch helped a little bit. So yeah, you might notice that in the screenshots. Here I'm working on the stage area for the debate podium. I felt like this looked so good. I was trying to add a spandrel, but since I had the whatever you call the frieze around the exterior of the building, was actually changing the height of the spandrel on the interior, so I got rid of those. But I did add a couple of columns just to sort of make it look more structurally, I don't know, but more purposeful, like it's supposed to be here, I guess. I felt like the columns kind of added to that, and I think a spandrel would have too, but I don't know, the friezes were more important and I didn't want to get rid of those. So yeah, here you can see I'm adding a couple of staircases. I really wanted the entrance to this building to be like very grand, and so I think the double staircase really adds to that. I also create an open balcony to the lower floor, which I think also adds to the grandness. And these arches that I'm using came from the Courtyard Oasis kit, in case you guys aren't recognizing them. And in the center, I tried to use several of them to look more like a like the archway was going through rather than having a break in between the two different archways where there was just wall. But unfortunately your Sims cannot walk under it, so I had to remove those. And then also the archway that I put on the second floor is clipping through the roof a little bit, and so I used the tool mod to lower it, and then the Sims couldn't walk under it after I lowered it. So I do snap it back to the original version, so in case it looks a little bit weird, maybe if you're like looking up at the ceiling, it might be clipping through at a weird angle, but the ceilings are really high, so I doubt you would ever be looking that high up to the ceiling. Maybe if you're taking a screenshot of your Sims, you might, but I don't know, you could always use a different archway. But I felt like these ones just looked so much more castle-like, even though the Courtyard Oasis kit is nothing like the style of Britechester either. I still felt like it went, so yeah, you guys will have to let me know. I also really liked using this stone flooring here in the entryway. I also used this stone in the bathrooms, and I felt like it was so pretty, and I loved the yellow and white. I felt like it just complemented like the color of the building on the exterior really nicely. So I thought that was super pretty, and I never use this flooring. I think it's a base game floor, and I've used it like a small number of times, like maybe like 3 times ever in my building. But yeah, I thought it looked really pretty in here. The rest of the flooring that I'm using is a wood flooring that came from Vampires, and I decided to put it in 2 different directions to look more like a herringbone pattern. And the portraits that I just hung up in here, I imagined were like maybe alumni or older wardens or professors or somebody important to the university, and so thankfully we had enough to have each of the portraits different. The rest of the portraits that I put in the building are the ones that came from Get Together, because they're the only other portraits that we have, and they have big fancy frames and they look nice, so I imagine maybe they were the founders or the old owners of this building, and they donated it to the university to be a commons area for the students. But I put 2 of them in the entryway and then another 2 in the debate area. This is the hallway leading to the food area, and then also the debate area, and also the back of the building. And I just put a couple of chairs in here and a few decorations and a couple of the university sigils. Here you can see I'm using the tool mod to lower down this archway. Unfortunately, like I said, the Sims cannot walk under it once you lower it, so that was kind of disappointing. And then over here, the frieze on that turret building is poking through the second floor a little bit. Unfortunately, there was nothing I could really do about that, so if it really bothers you, you could of course just delete the frieze, but I don't know, I decided it wasn't that big of a deal. So yeah, over here is where I'm putting the bathrooms. They're just right behind the cafeteria counter, which is probably not the most ideal place to have a bathroom, but it worked out best for me with the floor plan. I also removed some of the windows so there wasn't so many windows looking into the bathroom. I more did this for like placement of furniture rather than really worrying about Sims being able to see your other Sims go to the bathroom because of course they're not really bothered by that unless it's completely open to the room and there's no door. But if there's a door, they don't care if there's a window. So but it still looked better, and I think worked out better for like the sink placement and also the toilet placement and all that kind of stuff, because I wanted there to be a few stalls. I did not use the stalls that came from Discovery University because those items are so big and basically I can never fit them in a bathroom. I wish that they would have made them like smaller. They look good and they're cute. I especially like the ones with the graffiti and like the writing on the inside of them. I think they look very realistic, but I never end up using them because they're so large. So I just did my own custom stalls. And then here I'm adding some dining tables so your Sims have somewhere to sit when they order their food at the cafeteria. And I really had fun play testing this, by the way. You can order like breakfast here if it's early in the morning, which I didn't really think about. So you can get like pancakes or a parfait. I think something else too. Oh yeah, avocado toast, which is so funny. I thought that was a really cute detail. And I just have not played Discovery University like at all, or basically any packs in such a long time. So it was really fun playtesting this one for me because there's just certain things I didn't know about. But yeah, there I just filled in those little pop-out pieces with some platforms just so they didn't go down basically when you're looking in cutaway mode. I like that they actually stay as a room, if that makes sense. I feel like that looks better. But yeah, over here I added a rug to the debate area, and then here I'm adding a Britechester banner. I wanted to add these flags, but they didn't really fit here above the window, so I put a couple of posters here, which I think actually looked really good. At first I was kind of disappointed that they weren't framed. I do think that that would have looked better just for the overall style, but I think they still work. So I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, I end up adding another row of chairs, which is probably overkill because I did notice when the Sims were going into debate that a few students actually came and watched, but only like 3 Sims came and watched. So maybe the first 2 rows is plenty, or even the first row, and you guys could add something else in here. But I just liked how full and finished it looked. I also added plant in here and a wall light. And then over here is going to be the bathrooms like I mentioned. So in here I do add a couple of stalls, just my own stalls with a toilet and toilet paper, and then a couple of sinks. The sinks that I use actually came from Vampires. I felt like they suited the style really nicely. And the mirrors I think are just base game, but they're nice simple bathrooms. And then I also put this picture above the toilet too, and I switched up the swatches so they weren't all the same in each of the stalls. But yeah, I think the bathroom actually looks really cute. And then I also forgot to finish decorating the counter behind the cafeteria stall. So I just quickly added a few items when I was taking the screenshots, like a microwave, a fruit bowl, and like one other item. I can't exactly remember, but it's very simple. I didn't do anything too interesting. But yeah, I really liked adding the soap dispenser and the towel dispenser in there. That came from Get to Work, and those items are just, they're so good for creating public bathrooms. I really like those items a lot. But yeah, here I'm just going to add a few decorations in the cafeteria. I do add a couple of decorations to the counter. I add these plates and napkins with the silverware, and then that's it. And then I completely forget about the counter. So I just got distracted. I do add a banner here next to the debate area. I felt like that really added to the whole like university feel, and it made it feel even like more decorated and stuff like that. So I was really happy with the way that looked. And then I just simplified the decorations on that back table, which I think look really nice. And then I add another banner here in the cafeteria. Also on top of the tables, I add another napkin and like salt and pepper decoration, just to sort of make it feel fully decorated and your Sims have some napkins and stuff to use. But yeah, over here I'm just adding some more artwork, and I think that's it for the whole lower level. And then up here on the second floor, I did realize that I wasn't completing the entire like recommended items, or not recommended, required items for the build, because originally I was just gonna put like a couple of chess tables up here and have it be more of a social area, but I didn't want to add like the ping pong table. But then I realized desks are required, so I did add like a study area, but I would have liked chess tables instead, I think. I don't know, because I wanted the study area to be more like the library. I do really want to build like a grand library, but of course I guess your Sims can study here too. But either way, I wanted to use the desks that actually came from Discovery University, but computers don't sit on them properly. They hang over the edge, which is very frustrating. But yeah, this is basically it for the room. I think I'm just adding the final few decorations to the build, and then we're going on to the screenshot. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one, and hopefully you guys do enjoy the screenshots. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!
When you came over, my heart was on its way out. I wasn't sober, and I was thinking out loud. I spoke of your bravery, your wit and audacity, of coming over and letting go of it all. Please move close to me. You love differently, so move close to me. Love me differently, differently. You lay beside me, you held my hand in the dark. I started fighting, 'cause I was scared of it